Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your mid-December reading. Let's see what's going on for you. We are asking the question of what wants to come forward for Cancer. What wants to come forward for Cancer? What's important for Cancer to know right now? All right. Take that one too. Okay, so far we have the Judgment. We have the Five of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Knight of Cups, and the Four of Wands. Interesting. We have all this blue-green energy and then all this like pink, red, orange energy coming through here for you. Lots of fire still showing up for you mid-December. Okay, so the Judgment, one of the my most favorite cards in the deck is the Judgment card. I love this card. This card for me always signals a spiritual awakening. Like any way I look at it, every time it comes in, there are instances sometimes it comes in and it means something completely different, but it's a spiritual awakening, and a spiritual awakening, like it really means a lot of things. For me, I guess I would best describe it as, your spirit has been lifted from the heaviness of this third dimensional realm that we're in, right? And it's like your spirit recognizes that it's not this human form. It's not this body that you are manifest in this realm. Your spirit is something very different. It is, it transcends all of physical matter. It transcends this third dimensional world. It transcends Earth, right? It is forever, okay? And the saying that I'm thinking about right now is, when it comes to like identity, right? And which a spiritual awakening or any kind of awakening oftentimes involves some kind of realization about who you are, your identity, okay? And the way I like to see it is that we are eternal spiritual beings having a temporary human experience, okay? And I love looking at things in that way because it really tells us that, whatever is happening here on earth, this is the playground for us to like figure things out, to have different experiences, to have that human experience. But our spirit is so much bigger than our human experience. Our spirit is eternal. It goes on forever through all space and all time. It is our energetic essence that cannot be destroyed. It's neither created nor destroyed, right? So for you, Cancer, I do feel like there is like some big realizations happening for you, this mid-month, and it's great. So I do feel, right, because these two cards are very connected, especially like with the color and whatnot. I do feel like this new awareness that is happening for you has to do around loss. I am kind of getting the feeling of it being around a person. I am feeling like there's some kind of realization that a connection with someone else is not what you want it to be, or not what you were hoping for, especially when it's coming in with the Five of Wands, okay? So this loss, it does seem to really feel like it is around a person. It does also feel like you not seeing eye to eye with someone, like really not being on the same page with someone, like really, this conflict feels really more about like the way you see things. And of course, the way you see things is going to affect the way you approach things. But this to me really feels like there's some loss around a connection kind of like, you know, not being strong or very present with you and another person or another thing. But I do feel like it is a person for you, Cancer. However, okay, I also feel like this loss of connection is it's very like transitional, right? Because these are the fives showing up here. And so it's very much this energy of transition. Yeah. So it's like it's moving from, okay, this is what I'm getting. It's like you had some connection with somebody and you thought it was good, right? Because maybe it was like, you know, the best that you've had so far almost, right? So you thought it was good. You held it in high regard. But this realization has come forward for you that maybe it's not really as good as I thought it was, you know? And I feel like that is the thing that kind of like brings you into this new energy of like, no, like I want more. Like I want connection that is like much more than this, right? Because there's this element here of like, you know, the Five of Wands is like petty disagreements, right? And the Five of Cups is like, okay, you have some cups that are spilled over, but you have some cups that are still full, but you're focusing on, you know, the things that you don't have instead of the things that you do have, right? So there's all this energy of kind of like pettiness here. And so I feel like this connection, this loss of connection that you're having with this person or thing or whatever it may be, it's small, and you're realizing how small it is, and instead you're welcoming in more. It's almost like this real realization of your own value and your own worth and what you're willing to accept and not willing to accept. And it's kind of like that levels up for you a little bit. And so whereas you were willing to accept like these kind of like petty things, you were willing to accept less than, you were willing to accept, you know, this small stuff. It's like now you're having this realization of like, no, you're not willing to accept that anymore. You want the real thing. You want the thing that feels like really deep connection. You want the thing that feels like really deep fulfillment. You want the thing that is that you can have a romance with, right? And again, like romance, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be I always say this and I feel repetitive sometimes, but like you can have a romantic relationship with life. You know, you can feel so in love with life. You can have a romantic relationship with your art. You know, you just love being in that space of creating, and you know, it's just this beautiful romantic relationship that you have with creating art, okay? And so like this realization like really brings you to this place of not willing to accept small and petty, and really moving beyond that, like really leveling up and knowing that no, you want something that is much more fulfilling, and you're not going to accept anything less than that fulfillment that you desire from something, okay? I mean, this could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be lots of different things, right? So in the case of a job, it's like, you know, you're doing this work and it's just, you know, it's a grind, and there's no real passion in it, there's no real heart in it, there's no real fulfillment in it. And so it's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm better than this. I deserve more than this. Like, I'm not going to waste my time slaving away at some job that like just really doesn't have my heart connected to it, right? That doesn't really feel like fulfillment. I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's, I feel like, the real awakening to, your spirit that you're having, right? That you're not settling for less than anymore. You know, you want true fulfillment. You want this human experience for yourself to be fulfilling, to be this, you know, romantic, right? Like you want to have this romantic relationship with your human experience. You don't want to have this relationship of like loss and conflict and petty small, you know. It's like this is playing small and this is like, you know, playing big, right? Like you are, you know, you're not going to accept the less than. You're going, you know what you deserve, you know your worth, um you know that you get to make decisions about how you live your life, you know? And I feel like that brings in a new stability for you. It brings in like just this really new this new foundation. Four of Wands is really about foundation, right? It's like, you know, it's having a solid foundation. And it's something with this Four of Wands, especially, like there's this aspect of like celebration, right? Like you're this newfound love, and it's almost like this newfound love for yourself and for your own journey, right? And putting yourself first and not playing small. And coming to that awareness is like this real celebration for you. There's a real awakening happening for you. And there's a real realization of like, wow, this changes everything. And that's typically what like a spiritual awakening does for people. It changes everything. Your whole outlook changes. Everything changes, right? And you know, and you're able to sink deeper into these places of more connection, more freedom, more love, more joy. And I really feel like that's this realization that is happening for you. And you know, it's you're going to be really successful at it. And it's like, it's almost like, I just heard finally, you know, I just heard like finally, you know. It's like Four of Wands is also this idea about like celebration because you've crossed over, you know, like you've crossed the finish line, right? So you've like officially moved, you know, from completing something into this new realm, right? Like you're in this new space. You've overcome some challenge, and you've crossed over into this space of being successful, and you know, and you can celebrate that because it is definitely worthy of celebration, right? This new space that you're entering into is very worthy of celebration. Yeah, no more playing small, no more settling for you know, lack of connection, for lack of depth, for lack of enjoyment. No more settling for those things. Like you are playing big. You're in the big league now. You want to have this romantic relationship with life, and you're going to have that. You're going to have that because you made a decision. You made a decision to not play small anymore. Okay? All right, Cancer, this is awesome. I'm super excited for you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this message resonates for you. You know, please, I really want to know and build connection with all of you out there. Because you know, we're in this together, right? Like we're journeying through this life together, and the more that we can support each other and build connection with each other, you know, just the easier it's gonna be. Okay. All right, love you lots. Aloha.